Here we are, end of February, looking at our February real estate update here in West Hartford, Connecticut. And I was actually really excited to look at the numbers this month. Last month, if you watched our monthly update, there was a few numbers that were different. And one of the reasons I was excited, I wanted to see if these were outliers, that we could attribute to some of the really harsh weather we had seen over that month, or if these are trends that are going to affect the early spring market, which is typically a very busy, active, real estate month as we get into February, March, April, right? So we did get some weather here in February. It didn't just go away after January. We had more cold, more snow, more ice. So it was another difficult month weather-wise. So I really wanted to see what those numbers looked like. So before I dive in, as always, if you have questions, don't be shy. If you're looking for a video more specifically on, our process and how we prepare buyers or sellers and take them through the process in this market, just drop a comment below and I'm happy to send you a video on either of those as well. And if you have questions, big, small, text, call, email, we are always here. Don't be shy. My team and I, we get questions all the time from people watching these videos. All right, let's take a look at our first statistic that we use to help us understand what's going on in the marketplace, and it's total active inventory. As of today, there are 27 homes for sale. Last month when I did this video, there were 22. So we're up slightly, and as we talked about in that last month's video, this number should trickle up each month as we start to get nicer weather and people become more comfortable listing. Now, I will say, as someone who tracks the numbers daily, that total inventory dipped as low as 19 for a good portion of the past month. So this recent rebound up to 27 is a nice bump, and it's happened over the past week or so. We actually hit 29 the other day. So people are out there listing despite the snow and the rain and the cold weather, which is good to see, and we did anticipate that. So we've certainly passed the low point of the year on inventory. It won't dip again until November, December, later in the year. From historically speaking, that's what we see. Next number I want to look at was closed sales. We're up to 35 closings for February, and again, we're looking at single family only. We're not including condo sales. We're just looking at single family homes for the purpose of these videos to get us accurate sample size. Which is up. The 35 closings is up from the 26 the month before. A pretty substantial increase, about 30% or so. And as we talked, this is something we thought would happen, as we got away from some of the weather patterns we were seeing, that there'd be more inventory and, of course, more closing. So again, I would anticipate this number continues to climb as we get nicer weather in March and April. Next number, days on market. Last month we were at 8.5. We got right back down. We were at 6 in February, which is right in that 5 or 6 range we've seen so consistently in a lot of these monthly check-ins. That's been a very common number. So that number's kind of fallen back into place nicely. Now this next category is the big one. It was median sales price. Last month, as you remember, we dropped down to $450, which was pretty substantial. Traditionally speaking, we're somewhere between $560, $610, give or take, for that median sales price number. So $450 was a big change, right? And that was one of the main categories I wanted to look at to see if that trend continued. Now, we're not all the way back up, but the month of February's median sales price was $540. So we are right there, closer to the range we're used to seeing. And as I explained last month, the weather has kept the total transaction count down. That skews some of that median sales price number to have it sometimes be a little off, or a little bit of a blip on the radar, so to speak. It doesn't necessarily mean there's crash in pricing or anything to worry about there. So the fact that we bounced up so abruptly here in February tells me we're on the right track, and that number should continue to fall into place somewhere between that 560, 610 range we are so used to seeing. The real interesting thing will be with the drop in interest rates. And again, they haven't fallen down to the threes that we were in years ago, but we've backed off that 8 number pretty high. They're somewhere, give or take, around 6 right now. If that continues to get into the lower 5s, it'll be interesting to see how that extra buying power affects that median pricing. Again, obviously, it's something we'll study and look at on these videos, so stick with us there. Last statistic, this was another one of, again, I would say a blip, where last month we were at 100% list to sales price ratio, which, I mean, at any other point in history, if we were at 100%, that would be amazing, right? That would be a sign of a very strong seller's market. But because we're so used to being over, it was a little bit of a concern to see if that was the trend. But again, February, we were right back at 105%. So we're seeing that strength in the market and that competition amongst buyers that has been so prevalent here over the past 4 or 5 years. So a lot of what we talked about last month as being blips in the radar, the statistics this month really do support that. Again, West Hartford is very diverse in terms of types of property for sale. There are condos, there are entry-level housing in the 300 price range. There is plenty of course, median, move-up homes in that, say, 500,000 to 800,000 range, where people will, move out of the smaller starter homes and get into those, quote unquote, forever homes, right? The, say, 2,400 to 3,000 square foot range. And then there's the luxury homes as well that are up in the millions and more. So because of the diversity of the West Hartford market in terms of price point, please, if you want more specific details in terms of your property, don't be shy. I'm happy to go over that with you. These numbers we're looking at are general for the town, because this is a big town, 64,000 people. Depending on where you're at, these numbers could be a little better or a little lower. But this is a good starting point for you to plan for your family and know what to expect. Hope it helps, and we'll be back next month.